Recently, Taehyung attended the At Free Seoul event, and the first thing he said was that it was Jungkook's birthday. He didn't talk about himself or what was happening at the exhibition, he simply asked people to think of Jungkook and wish him a happy birthday. It was brief, but very clear. In the middle of a large event, Taehyung wanted to put himself at the center of attention. For many, it was a simple way to show how important Jungkook is in his life. This attitude fits with what those who follow Taehyung already know well. The two often demonstrate their closeness with small details, but they end up saying much more than any speech. A perfect example was the live show in which they appeared sharing a meal. There were no professional cameras or crews behind them, just them with their phones, chatting and laughing like anyone who spends a pleasant time with someone close. What caught everyone's attention most were the looks they had. Taehyung couldn't take his eyes off Jungkook, and the way he watched him was so evident that fans couldn't stop commenting on it. That live performance was even more meaningful because it coincided with Jungkook's birthday. Seeing them together, celebrating in a simple, unadorned way, made people feel like they were witnessing an intimate moment. It wasn't complicated at all, two people sharing time, laughing, and enjoying being together. But that's where the magic lay, in the everyday. Music has also been part of this story. Taehyung has dedicated songs to Jungkook several times, and those choices always leave a special echo. It's not just about singing, but about conveying a message. For those who follow Taehyung closely, those songs sound different because they know who they're addressed to. And even if it's not said directly, the feeling is noticeable. That's why many people are convinced that what unites Taehyung and Jungkook is real. You just need to see how they behave when they're together, how they look at each other, how they speak, how they accompany each other. All of this forms a picture that leaves no doubt about what they mean to each other. Of course, not everyone receives it the same way. Some celebrate each of these displays of affection and are moved by Taehyung's every appearance, while others react with discomfort or even rejection. But beyond these opinions, the truth is that Taehyung and Jungkook continue to show themselves as they really are, without trying to hide that closeness. That's precisely what makes them so special to those who follow them. They don't need grand words or prepared gestures. It's the small moments that make the most difference, a quote at an important event, a live show with shared laughter, a song that takes on new meaning. It's in these situations that their connection feels strongest. And although there may be conflicting opinions, there's one thing no one can deny: the relationship between Taehyung and Jungkook continues to grow and add moments. Some may call it friendship and others may see it as something more, but what is shown between them is authentic, and that's what most attracts those who follow their story. An incident recently came to light that put many of Jungkook's fans on alert. It all happened on the night of August 30th, around 11:20 p.m. According to Korean press reports, a 40-year-old woman took advantage of the moment a car was entering the parking lot of Jungkook's building to sneak behind it and directly into his garage. Security cameras recorded the entire movement, and thanks to these recordings, the police were able to intervene immediately. Minutes later, the woman was arrested. When questioned, she said she had entered because she thought it was a friend's house. Her words sounded confusing and unconvincing, and it was clear that her real intention was to enter Jungkook's home without permission. This case was even more worrying because it is not the first time something similar has happened. Just a few months earlier, in June, another person had also tried to approach Jungkook's house. This repetition angered fans, who felt that boundaries were being crossed again and again, affecting the singer's peace of mind. The problem isn't just legal, but also personal. Jungkook, like anyone, needs to get home and feel safe. After spending the day surrounded by cameras, recordings, and work, it's natural to expect his home to be a place of rest and calm. Someone trying to break in without permission breaks that basic idea of security. reactions were quick to emerge. Fans expressed their anger on social media, not only because of the risk the intrusion entailed, but because it shows how difficult it can be to maintain privacy when you're so well known. Many recalled that Jungkook, along with Taehyung and the other members, spends a lot of time with the public, concerts, broadcasts, even more relaxed moments on live television. However, these shared spaces don't mean anyone can trespass the boundaries of his personal life. The work of the police was key. There were no witnesses at the exact moment of the intrusion, but the cameras did their job. Thanks to them, the woman was quickly identified and arrested before the incident escalated into something more serious. She now faces prosecution for breaking and entering, a crime that has significant consequences in Korea. Beyond the incident itself, what happened opens a window into how we experience admiration for artists. Supporting someone's career means supporting their projects, enjoying their music, and celebrating their achievements. But invading their private space is the opposite. It puts the person at risk and demonstrates a lack of respect. In the case of Taehyung's fans, the discomfort was even more acute. Seeing Jungkook go through this type of situation is worrying because he and Taehyung have shared very close moments with their fans, from live streams to concert details and interviews. The least anyone would expect is that, outside of those spaces, the privacy they value so much would be respected. Authorities continue to investigate and strengthen security measures. Meanwhile, fans continue to show their support in the right way, remembering that respect is the foundation for caring for those they admire. This case also serves to emphasize that regardless of fame, everyone has the right to feel at ease in their own home. Over the years, many videos of Taehyung and Jungkook have accumulated. In each one, there's a pattern that repeats itself over and over again, drawing the attention of everyone who follows Taehyung closely. It's not something planned or a one-off gesture, but rather a dynamic that flows between the two. It's as if they're connected by an invisible thread that keeps them attentive to each other's every move. It doesn't matter if they're surrounded by people or if the cameras are pointed directly at them. In those moments, it seems as if the rest of the world fades away and only Taehyung and Jungkook remain. When one raises their hand, the other responds immediately. When one steps forward, the other follows without much thought. There are no visible signs or words to indicate this, but their coordination speaks for itself. For many, it's like witnessing a silent dance, made up of spontaneous gestures that emerge effortlessly. Music has also been a space where this connection has become evident. Several times, Taehyung has chosen songs that he dedicated directly to Jungkook. These choices don't go unnoticed, because fans know how to recognize when a performance has a special meaning. It's not just about singing well or performing with technique, but about conveying a message. When Taehyung looks at Jungkook while singing or mentions his name while introducing a song, the moment takes on a different meaning. For those who follow Taehyung, those songs feel different because they know they carry a personal intention. And even if they don't say it with words, the feeling is clear. With each joint appearance, the body language between the two changes. It's not just about being next to each other on stage or in an interview. The way they look at each other, touch each other, or search each other's gaze reveals something deeper. When Jungkook leans toward Taehyung, he responds naturally, and vice versa. There is confidence in their gestures, trust in their closeness, and a complicity that needs no explanation. This type of interaction isn't something temporary or a habit that appeared overnight. It seems more like a way of relating that they've developed over time. Watching older videos, you can already notice signs of this connection, although perhaps less obvious. Over the years, those signs have become clearer and more consistent, reinforcing the idea that what they share is genuine. A well-remembered example is when, during a live performance, Jungkook spontaneously approached Taehyung and the latter greeted him with a smile that spoke volumes. There were no words, just a quick exchange of glances that was enough to convey their closeness. Another moment occurred during a live broadcast, when both were relaxed, away from the stage. There, while sharing a meal, fans noticed how they filmed each other and how they maintained that same dynamic of gestures and gazes, even without being in front of a large audience. That naturalness is also reflected in the small details, when Taehyung adjusts Jungkook's clothes, when Jungkook adjusts Taehyung's microphone, when they lean on each other during long interviews. These actions, while seemingly simple, speak volumes about the trust and care they share. Taekook's fans recognize that these interactions aren't easy to ignore. That's why, over time, a narrative has formed around them that goes beyond simple, isolated moments. Each live show, each performance, and each joint appearance provides further evidence of their special relationship. The fact that many fans analyze every gesture, every glance, and every word is no coincidence. Over the years, they've learned to identify patterns, and in Taekook's case, those patterns repeat themselves so clearly that they're hard to miss. From their synchronized movements on stage to the more relaxed moments off it, the relationship between the two always conveys more than meets the eye.